Vocalist Jean Danton and pianist Luke Molloy have joined me in the studio to talk about music. Naturally, welcome, both of you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mark.
Great to have you both in the studio. And Jean, I guess we'll start with you. I know you've been at QATV in the past for interviews. All interviews talking about music and talking about upcoming performances. Let's kind of get into, you're a vocalist, so let's kind of get into your background, and then we'll kind of get into how the two of you met. We'll talk about your background as well, Luke.
I have a double major bachelor's in voice performance and musical theater, Bachelor of Fine Arts, and then I did had a full scholarship to Hart Conservatory for an opera master's program, and then I stayed an extra year for part of the artist diploma program, and then I moved to Boston. So I've been very fortunate in that I've been able to train in very different styles, and that's one of the things I love about, I've been very fortunate in my career that I can sing in many different styles. I had that wonderful training in college and graduate school.
My, I guess, introduction to you has been Broadway tunes.
Right. I did a North Shore Pops in December Christmas concert where I sing classical on the first half and then come back and croon a little White Christmas. And then I had a faculty recital at Jordan Hall at New England Conservatory that was all classical, followed by American Classics performances, musical theater. I've done jazz, Indian Hill music. I love to do musical theater, especially with Luke. I just did a concert at the Charlene Luke Performance Center this Saturday where I'm also an equity actor. So I did a straight theater performance there with the Arnea String Quartet. So I've been really fortunate to, like within even just like 4 months, been able to do a little of everything. And it's just so much fun to perform in these different styles and get the opportunity to do more than just one style, because I love all styles of music.
And Luke, talk about your background.
Sure. So I grew up in Marymount, right here in Quincy, Massachusetts. Started taking piano lessons when I was 6. And then my parents needed somewhere to put me during the summers, so they sent me off to South Shore School of Theater at Eastern Nazarene College, which a couple years later is where Jean and I would meet through a pianist who had worked for Jean. I started accompanying voice lessons there that Jean would teach at the school, as well as doing other various shows at North Quincy High School and Quincy High and other places around the community. I then went to Berklee College of Music and got my degree in professional music there. Wow, 4 years ago now. And since then I've traveled on cruise ships and touring around the country as a pianist and conductor. And I've been fortunate that for the last 5 years straight, I've been able to come back in the spring and do this concert with Jean.
Yeah, we are very lucky. Yeah.
So you had mentioned how, just briefly, you had mentioned that the two of you met at, did you say Eastern Nazarene?
At Eastern Nazarene, yeah.
When I met Luke, I could just tell right away. Luke has this amazing musicality that you don't always find, and I could tell right away there was something special about him, and I made sure he played for my students. And I also wanted him to do the classical and the musical theater, and I've just been fortunate that he stayed in town and went to Berklee and that we could start working together, because it's really rare to find someone like Luke who you really connect with, and I feel like we just perform so well together, and I never have to worry because he's so musical and we sort of are on the same wavelength, and that's rare in this field to find someone. So I've been very lucky that Luke has been around for so long, and I hope he'll keep coming back and we can keep doing these wonderful concerts together, especially here at this wonderful Richardson Room at the Thomas Crane Library.
Right, and that the date of that concert is June 14th. At 3 p.m.
Yes.
What can folks expect to hear the day of the concert?
Oh, well, it's called Broadway Cabaret, so we're focusing on wonderful Broadway show tunes, old and some newer. So we always start with a little group called Oldies But Goodies, which is sort of the older musical theater shows that someone might recognize the tunes from, the real classics that never get old. And then we're doing a group called That's Amore, a little love song group. And then Luke's going to do a couple wonderful solos. I'll let him tell you about those. And then we're doing all things Disney because we love Disney. And this year we're focusing on A Tale of Two Princesses and how the Disney princesses have evolved over the years in their music and their character. And then we're going to have a little sing-along because we love to get the audience involved because everyone loves to sing. It makes everyone feel so good. So we always love to have a sing-along, a little Sound of Music. And then we're ending with a wonderful group called To the Moon because the Artemis 2 just went to the moon. So we wanted to honor that and do some fun. We always like to end with a little jazz set because I love jazz as well. And Luke plays all different styles. So we're ending with a jazz set, To the Moon. And then Luke's doing 2 solos. You want to?
Yes, one reason I love working with Jean is that she's very generous in her sets. She always leaves 2 4 or 5 minute slots for me to choose really whatever I want to do. And it started out, I'd do, maybe some jazz tunes or a theater song. And the last several years, it's been 2 medleys from musicals. So one of them I'm doing this year is from Rodgers and Hammerstein's Carousel. So you can expect to hear the Carousel Waltz and You'll Never Walk Alone, and If I Loved You, and some tunes like that. And then the second medley I'll do is from a Broadway show called Ragtime, which was recently nominated for, I think, 9 Tony Awards for a beautiful Lincoln Center revival that I saw in the fall that was just magnificent. And so songs in there like Wheels of a Dream and Make Them Hear You. And yeah, I love working with Jean and rehearsing because, she'll send me the set list and there's often a lot of new songs in there and songs that I know that Jean has not herself performed, but that she's worked on with her students. And she said, you know what, they're having such a good time singing that song. I sort of want to do that on my own. And so this is, an opportunity for you to choose the entire set list and for us to work together and see what's working and, adjust it a little bit and create something special just for the audiences here at the Crane.
So your programs, you mentioned themes. Yeah. So how much fun is it coming up with a theme for a program?
So much fun. And this is the joy about this concert especially is that I get to choose everything with Luke's, of course, letting me know what he loves to do as well. But we love all the same music, so it's never usually too hard. But it's lovely because a lot of the concerts, when I'm hired to sing with orchestras and things, I have to, they hire me to sing and they often give me input, but sometimes you just sing what they would like you to. And this concert is whatever I want to sing and have Luke play, and then I let Luke choose whatever he wants to play. So it's all music from the heart that we love, that we're passionate about. And like Luke said, I love to mix in new songs that I've always wanted to sing. And this is a great opportunity to share them with an audience and bring them to a wider audience.
Folks will get to experience the musicality of the two of you in just a moment. But Jean, thank you so much for stopping by. And Luke, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. We appreciate it.
And once again, folks, June 14th is the date at 3 p.m. at the Thomas Crane Public Library. Jean Danton and Luke Molloy.
To float, now I just fall down. I used to know, but I'm not sure now what I was made for. What was I made for? Taking a drive, an idea looked so alive. Turns out I'm not real. What was I made for? What was I made for? 'Cause I don't know to feel, but I wanna try. I don't know how to feel, but someday forgot